What's up, guys? We are back here with the Controversial Truth podcast, and we have a special episode today we're going to do. It's kind of gonna be like a fun, just random one. It's going to be on aliens and ghosts.
Utter nonsense.
Yeah,
or is it?
Well, we're just going to do this like every once in a while after we get done with the series, or when we kind of get bored with the series for a little while, we'll just throw in a random topic.
Something spicy.
That, or what I've been thinking, even maybe at some point in the future, if there's enough people that show interest, we'll have like somebody just throw us a topic randomly while we're filming, and we'll just start talking about that topic. So
note free,
and just completely candid, and
which is what this is.
Right, yeah. So this one, we just literally 2 seconds ago picked this topic, and we're like, all right, we're just gonna do a random topic. So we're gonna talk about aliens and ghosts, or lack thereof.
Mm-hmm.
So
you
just
you can start. I have nothing.
Okay, so aliens. I don't know. I guess the first question would just then be, do you believe aliens exist?
No.
Why?
Because God created Earth. I believe he created Earth as the sole place for intelligent life. Because
so there's no rock aliens on the moon?
I don't believe so. No.
Unintelligent.
Not unintelligent ones.
So there could be life on other planets, but not intelligent life.
I am open to the possibility of life on other planets in the form of maybe microorganisms, plants, and even, I don't know, animals, semi-intelligent, like not apes, probably not humans, not dolphins or whatever, but some might be able to find life there. But as for like humans, no, because when Adam sinned, the Bible says when Adam sinned, all of creation was cursed. All of creation, which includes the entire universe, anything that was created. So if there's like people in a different galaxy or whatever, there's intelligent life forms that are conscious, and they have thoughts and hopes and dreams and whatever else.
And souls.
They, just from Adam's sin on this galaxy they've never heard of, on this planet that's tiny, because of his sin, all of creation was cursed. So they would just be living these perfect lives and just cursed for absolutely no reason without committing sin themselves. So I think that fact, since all of creation was cursed when Adam sinned, that'd be extremely unfair to some random intelligent life form out in some other galaxy that is cursed because
and they wouldn't have been able to hear about Jesus and
Jesus came here, died once, not however many times, in different timelines on different planets, for
different timelines,
the souls of other people,
dimensions.
Yeah, because
I agree.
That's why I think there are no intelligent life form in that aspect, but maybe I don't think there's even life on other planets, but might there be? I don't even know, a bug that we find in some random planet. Sure, for God, I won't limit God to creating life on one planet in like a plant form or something. Like maybe it's like, down in the year 2050 they're gonna find this planet and there's gonna be some cool plants on there for them to find, and be like, and Christians would be like, oh wow, God has created so much for us to find on other planets, that creation is amazing. But as for like intelligent life out there, smart enough to the point where they can like come here and visit us and probe and whatever else, no, that doesn't make any sense.
So do you think we would ever, as a human species, be able to survive and thrive on another planet?
Thrive? No. Survive maybe in some sort of air-proof sealed dome that Elon Musk is trying to put on Mars.
So you think it's a waste of money to try to go to other planets?
I think it's absolutely a waste of money to do any sort of space exploration.
I had this idea the other day that like, we put all this money into like, space explorations because I think some people maybe do it because of overpopulation, and like, if we can just find resources and stuff on another planet, we'll be good.
Or we could just take care of the people here.
Well, I had this thought. Maybe it's crazy. I mean, I'm furthest from a scientist, so I have no idea if it even worked. But like, what if we took the ocean and we transported all the water into space?
This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Just dried up
the oceans.
This is truly.
So we had plenty of land.
This is what. Clearly, this is an unscripted episode, because that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. How do you take the ocean and put it? Tell me your plan. How do you take the ocean and put it in the sky?
I have no idea.
Into space. You just one spaceship at a time. We just like
one
throw it.
Truck.
I don't.
No.
Wow.
So I have no idea. It's just the
Go
thought,
on,
the thought
anyways.
crossed my mind.
So if we were able to take the ocean and put it somewhere else, go on with your plan.
just take the ocean.
Yeah.
Can you talk now? But yeah, like dry up the ocean basically, and then we have all this extra land to live on. I mean, think of all the. I mean, the Earth is what 70% water, so it's 70% ocean.
Yeah.
We'd have 70% more land to crop and grow crops on and live on.
And not be able to find fish and have less oxygen because most of our oxygen is produced by plankton and algae in the oceans.
I mean, I didn't say it was a good. I was just asking.
I know that is.
Maybe somebody watching this that knows science stuff really well could
You know
be like,
the-
you're an idiot.
You know the Billy Madison quote where he talks about he's like, but the puppy was a dog, and then at the end he goes on, he's trying to win this debate with the lawyer guy, and then the mediator's like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard said.
Oh,
Like
yeah. Everyone
here is now dumber for hearing it.
Yeah. That's how you feel
I
about
award
what
you
just
no
said.
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That is how I felt hearing you say, "Put the ocean in space." Anyway, that caught me off guard. That was funny.
I don't even know if it'd
Right.
be doable to like do it in the first place. I mean, what would happen if you took a bucket load of water and just
It would
flew it into
be,
space? It would just freeze,
unaffect
right?
anything.
It would just float around in space, though, right?
It'd just
Like
be
freeze.
free floating.
Yeah. So I mean, it's maybe possible to
It's
do. It's just
absolutely
whether or
not.
not it would be beneficial.
There's so much. Oh, gosh, we'd use up resources trying to get spacecraft up there that many times. No.
What if this went viral? Like, not the video, but just the idea of doing that. Like, I mean, take flat earthers for
That
example.
was
Like,
my-
there's people that believe the Earth is flat. So I mean, maybe it
People
would be,
do believe dumber things than what you just said.
Maybe there's gonna be like a group of people spawning on the internet right now. They're like, we should move the ocean to the
Space
to
oceaners.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We started a movement.
Yeah. So you asked me, do you believe aliens exist on other planets, space here, maybe?
No, I mean I'm right on board with you about there not being aliens and it not being feasible based on the Bible.
But the universe is so big.
Yeah, it is very large. I think that displays the glory of God.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely
you said.
does.
But
Which is why I think we might find plants, or maybe, possibly, because like that would still just display God's.
right.
Glory.
And like I know there are Christians that believe that there's aliens. I don't know how they justify that with the Bible, but like it would seriously shatter my worldview if I found out there was aliens. Like, I would be like,
I'd be rocked if
I'd
like,
be like, all right,
yeah,
I don't know about this whole Bible then, because
it'd be very confusing.
yeah, it would be really hard for me to fit that into my worldview.
Yeah, it'd be If I was like walking some like random night in some quiet area and like a spaceship came over me and like I got beamed up, I'd be like, I don't know. I'd be very confused.
Yeah. No, I think if somebody wanted to change my worldview, there's no argument that they could make that would convince me that God's not real. But
No.
I feel like if they proved aliens, I'd be like, all right, you're well on your way, potentially. To at least
To reassess some stuff. some things.
yeah, for sure.
So we've talked about this before, like a year. I don't know. It was a while ago. Aliens and demons being the same thing.
Yeah. So
I've heard it.
I don't know, because you have so many. I mean, one of the things I feel like most people say when, like, at least when I've had conversations with people who do believe in aliens, they're like, well, UFOs, man, like they've been sighted, like there's video camera of them. I mean, the government just released all of that,
The balls of light.
yeah, all
Sure.
of that stuff. Well, that was last year when 2020 the pandemic was happening.
the
They're
whole
like,
thing.
here's some stuff for you guys to do while you're sitting at
Yeah.
home. Sift through these files.
The X-Files,
Yeah.
you could say.
Yeah, pretty much. They give us like $1,200, and they're like, "Here, stay home with this $1,200 and these files, and don't think about the fact that we're forcing you to do a bunch of stuff that we shouldn't force you to do." That's a different topic.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I had heard that theory. I don't remember where from. I think it was just a YouTube video, honestly. But I got thinking about it just as like a thought experiment. Not that I have any.
Doesn't that science guy think that?
What science guy?
Not Bill Nye.
Bill Nye.
No,
Bill Nye the science guy does not believe.
You sent me a video. The guy that talks about like he's like a doctor. He's a creationist.
Oh yeah, that's the
He
one where I
might
got it.
think
Yeah.
that
So,
also.
yeah, the one that I sent you was like really long, super boring, and I
And
forgot
you
to
told
give,
me to.
Yeah, there was
you
just like
didn't
a
tell me to
small
watch the
part.
first 10 minutes. It was like an 80-minute long video and I watched the
Yeah.
whole thing, and you're like, oh, you're supposed to only watch the first 5
Yeah,
minutes.
that was my fault.
Yeah.
I wasted a bunch of your time there.
Yeah, he believes that. But yeah, I've heard the
I
theory.
think that was where I got it from.
But elaborate on the theory. What is it?
Well, so yeah, like the belief that the sightings of these UFOs and these alien contraptions or whatever have you, crop markings or what are they called?
Crop circles.
Crop circles, yeah. Are actually demons,
Like they're
intentionally
legitimate.
legitimate demons, like demonic forces, previous angels,
Sure.
Lucifer's army, if you will, trying to deceive people by, because again,
If aliens
existed, I'd be like, I don't know about the Bible. So I mean, I guess it makes sense. It's kind of a good tactic on the enemies,
So like
on their
aliens
part,
are demons
in disguise.
disguised as aliens in order to
They're wearing costumes.
deceive people into believing in aliens, you think?
Right. That's, I mean, I best explanation for UFOs, because I mean there are videos of them. I mean, I've been shown videos of them. I mean, obviously people can, in today's day and age, they can make a video
Sure.
of, I mean, we have movies of aliens that if you showed it to somebody 200 years ago, they'd be like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's real, because
Yeah.
they didn't know that we had the availability to make that sort of video. But
I don't know if I'm convinced on the demons. I mean,
it's my best thought on, like, other than being like, no, that's a fake video.
sure.
It's my best explanation for it, because there's really no, either the videos are fake or you're seeing something that's physically impossible. Like, moving objects can't do 90 degrees in our
Yeah.
with
yeah,
our
sure.
with our
with what we know that
technology anyway.
governments can do with stuff.
Right. So I mean, I guess the other explanation is that the government's actually, and a lot of people believe this, that the government is hundreds of years technologically advanced past what they actually allow the public to have.
I can see that.
Which I guess that's another explanation that
Yeah.
could potentially be
Sure.
truthful.
But for a lot of people, I think the part of the reason why it would rock a lot of Christians' kind of worldview and stuff is because not one of the reasons people believe in aliens, and like even the top scientists in the world, they're like, there's got to be life on other planets. That's
Right, because of
what's-
evolution.
That's what's driving evolution, and the idea of life spontaneously, coming out of nowhere and through natural processes over time is what's driving like the space exploration. Like there must be something out there because we can't be all that's it. Because with this much time and this much space, life must have evolved on other planets. And ours couldn't have been the first, likely isn't the first one if evolution is true. So there must be one that evolved millions of years before us, and they're so far advanced that they have the ability to reach us. So like at the root of a lot of the belief in aliens is also the belief in evolution, that life can.
And then you have the
come out of
ancient
nowhere.
alien beliefs, where they actually placed us here. They evolved and then placed us here
Yeah.
as a science project, I guess. I don't know the specifics. I've watched a couple episodes, but
Ancient
I've never
aliens,
really.
it's super addicting.
Yeah.
It's more plausible than like atheism if you watch it.
Well,
because they're like
they
just
believe
think
that they're gods, kind of, but they don't believe that they were created. They believe that they evolved, right?
pretty much what we believe about God and angels. They believe that those are aliens.
But do they believe that these aliens have always been and will always be,
I have
or do they
no
believe
idea.
that they evolved?
They just-
That's-
it's just
'cause
pretty
it
much
was my
up to-
understanding that they believe that they evolved and that we were placed
Probably
here,
evolved.
So
But they just think that like ancient man's encounters with angels and such, they were really encountering aliens,
yeah.
which we might do a topic on whether or not they're ancient. The ancient man, the gods of ancient man, were real, possibly not aliens, but possibly demons. Which is I'm very excited to do
Yeah,
because
that'll be an interesting one.
I'm all but convinced of that.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a fun one.
Pretty interesting pictures you showed me when you brought that topic up.
Yeah,
Those put chills up, like
It's
all
cool,
my
it's
hair
weird,
stood up and I was
super
like, oh
weird.
my gosh.
that's the second I had that thought, I was like, my mind was blown.
Yeah.
I'm
I feel like
excited.
you have to, at least if you're going to elaborate on it as much
Okay,
as you
okay,
can,
alright, fine.
you at least have to tell people what it is.
So basically, the gist is like, instead of the gods of ancient man being aliens, or the gods of ancient man just being things they conjured up just because they wanted a god, the god. Oh goodness, the gods of ancient
Choking
man.
up, it's so cool.
Yeah. The gods of ancient man. Like if you look at the gods of, like the ancient Sumerians or the
Egyptians.
or the Egyptians or Mesoamerica or whatever. But mainly like where the cradle of civilization was around like Mesopotamia and such. Some of their gods are called the Anunnaki, and the Anunnaki, just like some of the ancient Egyptian gods, they stood up like a man. Some of them had the head of a man. Some of them had the head of a steer. Some of them had the head of a bird. They had 4 wings and on 2 feet, and some of them had the body of an animal, which you're like, yeah, that's crazy. But if you look at the description of like cherubim in the Bible, which some angels were probably cherubim, some of the ones that fell or rebelled against God, they have that same description, that's standing on 2 feet, whether the feet are hooves or not, the head of a man, the head of a bird, the head of a steer, 4 wings. And I was like, I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that maybe either Satan himself or demons, when they fell, or when Satan wanted to be like God, he wanted to be like God. So he's like, he's pumped up on himself. He was prideful, jealous of God. I think when he came down to earth to deceive the nations, I think one of his things that he wanted to do was to be God, was to be worshipped. And I think he was. And I think if you look at the gods of ancient man, like their descriptions and their carvings, I think those are like possibly actual depictions of either Satan himself or demons, because it's too similar, their physical characteristics.
Yeah, and like, why would people just randomly come up with that? I mean, I guess, but I mean, maybe they coincide with each other because this theory is correct, and so that's why you see these kind of strange creatures all throughout ancient history and stuff like that, is because of that phenomenon.
And you see them all over the place.
Yeah, and
seraphs.
It seems like it would be kind of difficult to just come up with that on your own. Like if you were like a lot of the cultures that had gods that weren't anything out of the ordinary were like bulls and calves and stuff like that. They just draw pictures of random animals that
where they started to worship creation as opposed to
exactly.
But
and
that random combination being exactly what the Bible describes some angels to be like. I personally believe that, and same with like, it's not just Mesopotamia. Like I said, other couple cultures, they have some very similar things. Same with like a flying serpent type thing. That's what a seraph is. Seraph is a serpent.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think either Satan himself or demons were successfully worshipped by ancient man, and that those are depictions of that. Because I don't know, that was a really cool thing, and I don't know, that would also make sense. He wanted to be worshipped, and I think he was.
So this is a random question. It has nothing to do with either topics.
Oh.
But I just want to ask it just to get your opinion, because I just had this thought and I never really thought about it.
And we have absolutely no plan for this episode.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, sure.
Do you think Satan can shapeshift? Like, can he only present, like, obviously God can, he's God, he can do whatever he wants. He can present himself in the form of Jesus, which he did, or, really anything if he wanted to. Can Satan come and show himself as, like, angels, for instance, they could come down, and it says in the Bible that you might have entertained angels without even knowing, because they look like humans.
Like some random guy walking down the street that you could help or could not help.
Right. So was that an angel that looked like a cherub or a seraph, and then transformed into a human, and then we would assume that Satan has that ability too? Or are there angels in heaven that just look exactly like humans, but they're angels and they can come down? What do you think about that?
I think there are different. Okay. I think there are different types of angels. Clearly, there's archangels, there's cherubs, seraphs, and those random weird spheres inside a sphere inside a sphere. Some people think that's actually a type of angel. That's a debate, but I think there maybe are angels that look like us in heaven. Either that or they can shapeshift, because when angels came down for trying to get Lot out of Sodom, like I think they looked like men. It was said they looked like men.
Yeah.
So I don't think they were like these. I don't think they were cherubs that were like face of a man, face of a steer, face of a lion, face of a whatever I missed bird, 4 wings on hooves. They're like, hey Lot, let's get out of here. And nobody No, they looked like men, and we know that much.
So how many of the demons do you think look like men then?
I have no idea.
And the other thing is too, then, I mean, this is still off topic from what we planned on, but
Is it off topic from this topic? Wait.
no, it's off topic from the original topic.
Okay, sure.
We're just gonna go topic after topic. It's not even gonna be about aliens by the time we're done. We're gonna be talking about bread or something.
Bread.
I don't know.
Okay.
But if you have this whole people used to worship demons basically, because the cherub and the seraph are really, according to the Bible, at least in Revelation, their whole thing was just to worship God. They were just worshiping in the throne room, right? So
as far as we know, yeah.
In my understanding of angels, and I think there's a hierarchy with angels.
There are, yep.
Pretty clear in the Bible. You have certain angels that almost seem like they're more robotic, and other ones that have more of a free will. Obviously, Satan had a free will because he chose to rebel against God, and he fell because of it. So in my best understanding from what I see in scripture, the cherub and the seraph almost don't have any free will. They're just kind of like, all we do is worship. So if that were the case, how would they have chosen to fall? Or chosen to rebel, I guess.
I think they have a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like there are some who there's at least a few whose job is just to sit around the throne and say, holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty. At least in that vision. Yeah. But I think a lot of them have more roles than that. Yeah. I think the Bible says that Satan is a cherub. I believe it's. I'm almost certain that there's a verse that specifies. Idea, so I can't say. But as for can they shapeshift? I don't know. I think they can at least take. Maybe there are some that look like men and just come down. But I don't know if Satan can shapeshift himself, like into like whatever he wants, like a woman or a man or a dog or a cat. Yeah. I think he can possess whatever he wants, if that's not a believer. Like any clearly he can possess a snake or a serpent, right? Because like that has happened. And demons can go inside pigs or be cast into pigs
or
humans. So I think possession for sure. Shape-shifting, I don't know. Like if that verse that talks about you've entertained angels without knowing because they look like people occasionally. Maybe. I don't know. Because it'd also be weird if like a good angel possessed a person for the sake of entertainment. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. So that doesn't seem right. So yeah, based on that, I would assume that there are some angels that can look like men, but I don't think Satan can shapeshift into whatever he wants. I think at least demons can possess, and good angels don't possess.
Maybe could, but don't.
Yeah. They don't. That's an abuse of power, possibly. Something. Yeah.
It's all very interesting.
Yeah.
What do you think? So, going back to the actual topic
of aliens.
So of aliens. Yeah. So like aliens being demons, because that's kind of how we got to where we're at now.
I think so.
So you think that's
not aliens, demons. I think that gods of ancient man are demons. Oh, okay. Aliens. No, I don't think aliens exist. I don't think aliens are even.
Well, no, I know you're
trying to deceive them.
Oh, okay. So you don't think that then?
I don't think so. But also, I wouldn't put it past them. If one of the plans was to, if you can like convince people of aliens, you're kind of convincing them of evolution. If you can convince them of evolution, then that kind of rules out creation. So there is like logic to it.
Right. Exactly.
So I wouldn't put it past, I suppose, demons, but I don't believe it's true. But it wouldn't surprise me if it did happen. But I don't think it's happening.
Well, we know it's not Satan because we know he's locked up.
Not Satan. Stop that. No, we are not.
Not going to start that topic today. You don't want a 6-hour episode of us just arguing.
For those who don't know, we got to explain this real quick. Greg's a partial preterist, at least for now, and believes that we are currently in the 1,000-year reign of Jesus and Satan is locked up, so he cannot roam on the earth. I vehemently disagree with that point and do not believe that is accurate.
Well, I also don't believe that it's a literal 1,000 years.
You also don't believe it's a literal 1,000.
But anyway, that's
a rabbit hole. We're not going to get into it. But yeah, so aliens, no. Possibly, you think demons?
Yeah, well, for the UFOs and stuff.
Okay, but as for intelligent life, other planets,
my conclusion is no.
No, because they would have been cursed with the fall of man, I believe. Yeah, that wouldn't be fair.
No. But life's not fair.
You're right. They would have been cursed without a savior. That would have been, no. Because Jesus come once. Yeah. He's to die once, not once for this planet, and then a million years when some other planet falls again, and then again and again. And if time has gone on for as long as secular scientists think, then he would pretty much be constantly dying somewhere in the universe, always for a different life form, and that's not the plan, I don't believe.
Now that you brought up evolution, though, I can't wait to get into the topic.
That's gonna be fun.
That's gonna be a fun one, of evolution and doing the whole science. That's gonna be a long series.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting. But anyway, last question, and
still on aliens.
That's gonna segue between aliens and ghosts. Okay. Do you believe in alternate dimensions? Not. Well, no. I'll just leave it at that. Okay, all right, but the traditional secular view of alternate dimensions. Yes, we believe that.
Do I think there's a me doing exactly this in a different dimension, wearing a red shirt instead? No.
Spider-Verse.
No, I don't think. I don't believe in other dimensions. The only other dimensions I believe in are heaven, and hell.
Yep, and there are other dimensions simply because we can't get to them.
Yes, they're spiritual dimensions. That's what they're spiritual dimensions.
Realms,
I don't think if you drive far enough in a spaceship, you're gonna reach heaven. I don't think.
What was that movie that you and Eric love watching?
Interstellar.
Yeah,
super good.
Yeah, that's kind of like interdimensional.
That is interdimensional. Yeah.
Which I thought it was so trippy. I watched it. I didn't like it because it was so trippy. I was just like, "What is even happening?"
If you didn't like it, you didn't get it.
I guess not. I was lost.
It's so good.
I mean, it was still one of those movies where I was like, it was entertaining, but I wouldn't watch it again just because I was like, I don't get it.
I've watched it like 4 times.
I don't know. I'm not a big fan.
It's time to watch it again.
Anne Hathaway, anyway.
I'm not either. But McConaughey, I like McConaughey. He's good. Especially in that role, he does a good job. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So, what is your how did you segue? Oh, all right.
Well, I was going to go with dimensions because I knew that you were going to say.
Sure, that is a good segue.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say the dimensions, the demons were in a different dimension.
Sure,
so that segues nicely into do we?
I didn't think ghosts? I didn't think you could segue aliens and ghosts, but
I did.
You did. Those are the only dimensions I believe in. This physical one, and then the spiritual dimension. I think there's only 2 dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
Now, ghosts. Are ghosts real? No. Because of what I just said. You know? Like, when you die, you either go to heaven, or you go to hell. Unless you believe in soul sleep, and then you're just chilling until Christ comes back to resurrect your body. And that's a whole different topic that we'll get into sometime. But no, believing in ghosts means that when we die, our soul is just here anyways.
Yeah.
Like our soul stays here to do whatever you would do on, I don't know, as a ghost on Earth, which would be apparently to haunt people and do daily tasks. And I don't know. I don't even understand people that believe in ghosts.
Imagine how boring that would be.
Yeah. Like, what do you do? You're just like, okay, I'm a ghost.
Just no one can see you or interact with you
unless you want them to.
In most cases, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's different beliefs on what ghosts can and can't do.
It doesn't make like logical sense. People that believe in ghosts, if you believe in God and you believe in ghosts, it makes more sense than being an atheist who believes in ghosts.
Yeah, that one's always confused me.
I know a few. People are like, God isn't real. Like, are you serious? It's a myth. Jesus is a fairy tale. But then they're like, ghosts are legit. I'm going to spend thousands of dollars on ghost equipment that can locate ectoplasm or whatever. And like, I'm going to watch Ghost Hunters because ghosts are real. It's like, how can you not believe in God?
Or even just a spiritual realm, generally speaking.
But then you believe somehow that when you die, your soul can do whatever it wants. Yeah. Like who?
Those people generally believe in evolution as well, but they haven't thought it through well enough to know that like you can't believe in evolution in a completely material universe.
Yeah.
And believe also that there's a spiritual realm in which because souls don't exist in the evolutionary worldview, right? It's all just material. There's nothing
spiritual
immaterial.
Worldview.
Right. Exactly. So it makes no sense whatsoever to have those two in one person's worldview.
No.
And I've come across that too, where it's just like
it doesn't make any sense.
Baffling. I don't understand.
Someone I talked to who believes in ghosts said that like they were watching a show and like one of the ghosts, they were communicating. People on the show were communicating with the ghost, like, "Can you hear us? What's your name? Whatever." And the ghost is like, "This is my name," and they're like, one of the questions they asked the ghost, they're like, is there an afterlife? Which, first of all, you're talking to a ghost, you think. So that's a dumb question. Or then they're like, is there a God? And the ghost was like, there is no God. We are all that there is. I travel the cosmos. And my first thought was like, that's exactly what a demon would say. Like,
yeah, right.
There is no God. But also following that train of thought and trying to make logical sense of it, it doesn't make sense. So I was like, so you become a ghost. You can travel the cosmos, star to star, do whatever you want, free floating, going wherever you desire. One, yet you come back here.
Yeah, why?
Yet two, somehow you found your way back to Earth when the universe is apparently infinite in size, or so big that finding the same tiny speck again would be impossible.
And it would take, if you traveled the whole cosmos,
like, how do you find your way back without direction?
You wouldn't have enough time to get back here, I don't think. I mean, this is a lot of numbers, but just my assumption would be, if you went to the farthest reaches of the known universe, I don't think you'd have time to go there and back again in the amount of time that they believe
within the lifetime of
not only
humans. Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, because I mean, humans, according to evolution, have only been around for what, millions of years? I think since we evolved, the Earth's been around for billions of years, according to the theory. But humans evolved millions of years ago. I don't think you could travel. I mean, unless they're supersonic speed. I assume though that they can only travel at like,
I don't know,
walking or running speed. Maybe, I don't know. I mean,
I'd assume they believe they can travel at stupid speeds. I guess, I don't know.
So it's hard to wrap my head around.
You have no form of navigation. Like, you're a ghost that apparently went to a different galaxy. No form of navigation. Made your way back to Earth to tell us. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But you don't believe in a God who created that. Like, who created the afterlife? When the Big Bang happened, if you believe in evolution, the Big Bang, it also created a spiritual realm that this physical world goes to when they die. That doesn't make sense.
No, it does not.
But then there's like,
but I don't think they really don't think it through. I think a lot of the things with ghost stuff is it's just cool. It gives you the chills. It's kind of like almost like a high
adrenaline
for certain people. Yeah. So I don't think they really think it through. I think there's like, this feels cool and it's exciting.
Ghosts are cool.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna indulge in it. But that's one that definitely, I mean, maybe demons presenting themselves as aliens is a little bit of a stretch, but demons presenting themselves as ghosts, that one 100%.
Yeah. Going back real quick, the flip side, that is a pun, and you'll find out why.
The flip side is in like
the upside down,
Stranger Things. Yeah.
Like, you don't go somewhere else. Like, when you die, you're still on the spiritual version of this earth.
Sometimes there's a crossover with like a
that's what some people some people think that there's like.
See, the other thing is that, because that one, what really makes no sense to me though there is, you think about how many people have we had on this earth,
how many people have died
overpopulation with people that are alive. You would have ghosts like this on the earth. Like,
if every person turned into a ghost, went to like the spiritual version of the earth when they died, the amount of billions of people that have died,
they would have to take the water from the ocean to the.
You're right. They need all the space. Yeah, that's a good. That's funny. That is funny. How many ghosts are trapped in that realm?
Hopefully, they have spaceships that have dump trucks on them.
I guess. But yeah,
water tanks. I mean, dump trucks
ghosts
just fall out.
I do believe. So if people have asked me before, like, they know I'm a Christian, they're like, "Do you believe in ghosts?" And I'm like, "I do not believe in ghosts in the way that you believe in ghosts, as in like a soul." A human soul,
right,
in another dimension or realm, or messing with ours. I do believe in demons and like demonic possession. I do believe demons. I don't know if
manifest
themselves. If a plate got thrown across someone's house that I was at, I'd be like,
demon,
I'm leaving.
Yeah.
One, but yeah, demon. Like, I do believe demons do. It would, just like I said, I wouldn't put it past a demon to try to convince man of aliens because of the evolution link. I wouldn't put it past them to portray themselves as the ghost of a loved one that died. And it's like, oh, my aunt visited me.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you begin to believe in ghosts, you are opening up the possibility of evolution and
I would say evolution.
Like, well,
because again, then we just kind of go back to like how dumb it seems to.
Yeah, well, you're opening up like, I don't know. I was getting at. You're getting away from God.
Yeah.
Like your faith would be shaken if ghosts are real, because that means you don't go to heaven when you die. You stay here, and that would screw with your biblical beliefs. And I wouldn't put it past demons to try to screw with people's belief of the accurate afterlife and try to convince them of some sort of ghost dwelling here,
ghost ridden, overpopulated Earth.
Yeah. But yeah, that verse.
Oh yeah. I mean, read that to me.
Right. So I didn't really remember. I remembered that there is a mention. There's multiple mentions of ghosts in the Bible.
The Holy Ghost,
I guess. There's the one that like I think when Jesus was walking on the water, they thought it was a spirit.
Yeah.
So there's that. They're like, oh, so clearly, people back then believed in ghosts.
Yeah.
And then there's, I think part of the reason why Jesus like let them touch him and that why he ate food was like, oh, he's not a spirit, he's a man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I brought this up and you said you hadn't heard this.
I have no idea where you're going with this.
That there was a seance that was performed, and the Old Testament talks about a seance that was performed at King Saul.
So explain a seance, because I'm pretty sure I know what it is, but I don't.
You're trying to
bring back a spirit,
or talk to communicate with someone in the afterlife. Yep. And it did happen. I think I just had it. King Saul in the Old Testament. It says an example in the Bible, which I looked it up to like confirm that what I thought I heard. An example in the Bible of someone practicing the occult and holding a seance is the medium of Endor, who contacted the departed spirit of Samuel on behalf of King Saul. Amazingly, the seance was a success. Samuel was summoned, and he even chided King Saul for calling him up. It's pulling it up the verse right now. 1 Samuel 28, 7 through 15. So 7 through 15 is, Then Saul said unto his servants, Seek out for me a woman who is a medium, that I might give to her, that I might go to her and inquire of her. Her servant said to him, Behold, there is a medium at Endor. So Saul disguised himself and put on other garments and went, he and 2 men with him. And they came to the woman by night and said, Divine for me by a spirit, and bring up for me whoever I shall name to you. The woman said to him, Surely you know what Saul has done, how he has cut off the mediums and the necromancers from the land. Apparently Saul banished the practice of necromancy, I guess. I don't know.
On him.
I guess. Then why are you laying a trap for my life to bring about my death? So she's like, why are you asking me to do this if you know it's illegal?
Right.
But Saul swore to her by the Lord, As the Lord lives, no punishment shall come to you for this thing. Then the woman said, Whom shall I bring up for you? He said, Bring up Samuel for me. When the woman saw Samuel, she cried out with a loud voice. And the woman said to Saul, Why have you deceived me? You are Saul. The king said to her, Do not be afraid. What do you see? And the woman said to Saul, I see a god coming up out of the earth. He said to her, What is its appearance? And she said, An old man is coming up. He is wrapped in a robe. And Saul knew it was Samuel, and he bowed with his face to the ground and paid homage. Then Samuel said to Saul, Why did you disturb me by bringing me up? Saul said, I am in great distress, for the Philistines are warring against me. Yeah, sorry. And God has turned away from me and answers me no more, either by prophets or by dreams. Therefore I have summoned you for you to tell me what to do. And Samuel said, Why then do you ask me, since the Lord has turned from you and become your enemy? The Lord has done to you as he spoke by me. So that's one.
I can't believe I've never heard that.
Yeah,
before. That's crazy.
That's one instance where, because I looked into it a little bit, like whether or not that's like a legitimate thing, if you can actually conjure spirits. And some, even despite that, some people think that that is a special case. Like I one time, like that Satanist or whoever's trying to practice, the occult or whatever, can't just do that on a whim. It's only when God's like, all right, I'll allow it this time. Which I guess, anyways.
Well, see, that in my mind, hearing that verse really starts to make me think you do sleep when you die, and you don't. Well, at least this was obviously Old Testament, so maybe things have changed since, obviously Jesus' resurrection and stuff, but at least back then, you slept even when you were on your way to heaven, right? Because obviously Samuel was, a prophet, and he was someone that God he had a relationship with God, right?
Yeah.
And so if he's dead, and it says he came up from the earth, or up, I don't know if it's up from the earth, but it said he came up, rose up.
Which some would say paradise is like in the center of the earth.
Oh, really? Well, yeah. I guess
we'll have to look into that part.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really even have any speculation on that, but I don't know. That's the first thing that made me think of is like, okay, maybe we, according to that verse, in my mind, we do have to sleep, because unless what you're saying is true, because other than him still being asleep in the ground, I feel like if he was in heaven, God would have to almost like okay it for it to happen, you know what I mean? So I guess
from what I think I know, because that's what we do now, is like we question what we know.
Yeah.
From my understanding of it, pre-Jesus, like Abraham's bosom is, I'm pretty sure it says, at the center of the earth. That Hades and Sheol and paradise are all there. And then when Jesus died, he like took the saints up to heaven with him. He took them out of there.
I almost think, because I know what you're talking about, but my personal feeling on it is just that that's more of like a metaphor.
He came up out of the earth, so maybe that's where paradise was.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
But like, but yeah. Anyways, that is one instance of where like a ghost came to earth, and it was the soul of a man. Some people think that that's not actually a thing you can do, like anyone can do on a whim, or even if you're like a practicing, Satanist or whatever you do, because they look at the fact that she was a necromancer or a conjurer, I guess, and the fact that she like screamed when when Samuel actually appeared. People think that like
like it hadn't actually ever happened.
Yeah, it caught her off guard, like it's all really a hoax. And she was like, "Oh, I'll conjure this person. Oh, I'm seeing." And she's not really seeing anything. But the fact that she like screamed and was like, "Who is like what is happening right now?" Because it's actually happening, means that really was a very special case.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think
because she was.
that kind of even ties in with like. We had this conversation, and I don't remember if you moved on it or not, but about whether or not demons had foresight into the future or not. And we go over to that verse in the New Testament where it talks about the woman who was basically a psychic, and people were coming to her, and this guy was making money off of her. I can't even remember where in the New Testament it is exactly. I think in Acts, maybe.
I'm not gonna guess.
Anyway, Philip, I believe, comes up. Maybe Philip or one of the disciples comes up to her and basically prays for her and removes the spirit from her. And then the guy got mad because he was unable to continue making money off of her as a psychic,
which I took to mean as that woman was demonically possessed, and she could tell fortunes, whether it was like future events or knowledge of things that she shouldn't know.
I think I have knowledge of things that they don't know, or that most people wouldn't know, because obviously demons can. They can acquire information that you couldn't. Like you can acquire information about me that you would not be able to. You know what I mean? And so they would present that to her. And so just like in any psychic scheme, I think if you were like, some people use deduction, to do this thing. So they look at somebody and they're able to basically be Sherlock Holmes and be like, okay, I can deduce that because of your wearing your wedding ring that you're married. Obviously that's a stupid one, easy one.
Yeah.
But and so they'll do that, and then the people are like, oh my gosh, all this stuff, and then they'd be like, well, this is your future prophecy, and the people just take it as truth because they just told them all this stuff that they shouldn't have known. What I mean? So I think that's more of what it was. I don't think that demons actually have the ability to tell the future. I think that's something that's privy only to God. and demons just use that knowledge that they can acquire that would not be privy to most people.
I'd have to look more into what that passage is talking about in regards to prophecy, because she was like being prophetic, I think, or fortune. She was telling fortunes,
Yeah,
which
I think
could
the
be
word was
like
used as psychic. I don't think they actually use the word prophet.
Okay,
but I mean, I could be wrong. I'm not sure.
I'd have to look into like what maybe she was specifically doing, because whatever she was doing and that guy was making money off, I assume she couldn't do after the demon left her. Or maybe she didn't want to do it because she wasn't possessed by the demon.
That would be my better assumption. But I mean, but either way, she wouldn't have been able to do it after the demon left her, because the demon was what was feeding her the information about people that would have made them go, "Oh, you know things that you should know." You know what I mean? But I brought that up to relate it to the fact that this woman in the Old Testament, probably same thing. She was probably had an demons. Act. She had an act that demons participated in, possibly, probably allowed her to give information to people that they shouldn't have, or that she shouldn't have known, and then was able to.
The fact that when someone's spirit actually showed up, she was caught like, very off guard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's definitely makes sense with those two paralleling.
Yeah, but to sum it up, aliens, no, unless they're simple life forms, possibly. Ghosts, no, unless they're demons. Demons may or may not appear as UFOs to convince people of aliens in order to get them to believe evolutionary things. And maybe demons try to convince people of ghosts in order to convince them that the afterlife is just your soul goes to a different dimension. There is no God, there is no heaven, there is no hell, there is no punishment for sin. Yeah. There is no Jesus and all that, which would be the smart thing to do if it were, if I were in their shoes. It's a weird shoes I don't really want to put myself in. But
put yourself in everyone's shoes, man.
Those are, gosh.
Including the devil's.
Those are my thoughts on those silly topics, but some people are super hardcore into aliens or hardcore into ghosts, and
I think sometimes
I don't think you can be a Bible believing Christian and be very convinced of either one of those things.
No, definitely not. I think it really just takes a little bit of, I mean, it kind of sounds condescending to say, but I think it just takes a little bit of critical thinking to be able to figure out that those two can't coincide.
Yeah, like if this, then this, then this, and this, and
right, exactly.
It doesn't make sense. And especially if you're a Christian, you can't believe.
You can't believe in evolution things. Either.
No, you can't.
It doesn't work. Well,
you shouldn't.
You could believe in.
If you're a Christian and you believe in evolution, if you die, I do believe you go to heaven. Right. You're just wrong for however many years you're on this earth.
Yeah, I'm saying
about that topic.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying that it disqualifies you from salvation. I'm saying that it doesn't fit with the Bible.
Yep.
They don't work together.
Yes.
Which will be a fun topic. I'm super excited for doing
with the science stuff.
The science topic on evolution and how it's a farce and all that stuff.
Whether the Earth is 6,000 years old or whether it's millions of years, and God used evolution and all that. I have a verse on that that's actually relevant, which I didn't think I'd be able to find one aside from like creation, but like a verse that kind of dates the Earth indirectly and kind of rules out the millions of years thing. But yeah, we'll get to it. I'm excited about that one too.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
All right.
So many topics.
Yeah, literally like 100 plus to get to.
Let's just quit our jobs and do this. Be broke.
Yep.
We'll have no money.
Let's not do
that. Our families will suffer for it, but we'll do it.
We won't though.
Oh, darn. Okay.
All right. You can wrap it up.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to our fun little episode here. We hope you enjoyed it and that you got some really deep meaning out of it.
Yep. Some good talking points for your whoever you talk to.
I don't know. These are my favorite episodes, though. I feel like.
Because I did nothing prepared and we're
they're just fun.
Spitballing.
Yeah, just spitballing. That's a good word. These are spitball episodes.
Oh my gosh.
I'm looking forward to these.
Yeah, you can make a fool of yourself talking about putting the ocean in the sky. Real quick.
It's a good idea.
Anyways.
We are all now dumber for having heard it.
For real, though.
All right, well, we hope you guys have a good week, and we'll be back with more on our church series next week, and we kind of transitioning not from specific church roles within the church, but to roles within the church body. So like
membership and
evangelists,
such.
Yeah, members,
Spiritual gifts.
Yep, spiritual gifts, different things like that. So
Yeah.
we hope to see you back next week, and hope you have a great week. Thanks.
See ya.